Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of my Making a Discord Bot in Python YouTube series. In this video, we are going to be going over commands and how to create them. So if you've ever used a Discord bot before, I'm sure you've used commands in some way, shape, or form. If you haven't, that's okay. You can just keep watching the video, learn what they are and how to make them anyways. But yeah, so the first thing you are going to need to do before you get started writing any commands with your Discord bot is you are actually going to need to install an extra library. It is a command handler, and so we are going to do that now. Okay, so the command handler that we are looking to install is actually called Hikari Lightbulb, and it is a unofficial command handler for Hikari, which is the library that we are using to create our Discord bot. So here's the GitHub page. I will link it down below, of course, in the description. If we scroll down here, we can see this command that we need to use to install it. So I can actually, I can click that. Let's drag this over here. We are going to go back to VS Code, open up our command prompt. Let me make this a little bit bigger, and just paste it in. Again, I have my virtual environment activated, so if you're using one, make sure you have activated it so you're not just installing it across your entire system. But yeah, so paste in the command and hit enter. So as you can see, we are simply installing Hikari Lightbulb. Most of the other things come with Hikari, which is what we installed in the very first video. So we really just needed Lightbulb in addition to that. But we have successfully installed it. Now we can get on to coding. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you're actually going to make modifications to your existing Hikari code if you have some already. If you're starting from scratch, then by all means just type in what we are going to change our code to. You'll see it in a second. But if you do have some Hikari code, here's what we're going to do. So first things first, we are actually going to replace this Hikari import with Lightbulb, just like that. And we are going to change the object that we are instantiating from Hikari Gateway Bot to Lightbulb bot app, just like that. All right, and that's basically all you need. If I save the file here and I open up the command prompt here, if I type in python bot.py, as you can see, we are still running our bot successfully, and we have this little message now here that's popping up, thank you for using Lightbulb. Now, if you have been following along with the series and you have some events that you might have been creating from the last video, then you might be wondering, will my events still work? Of course, you could just run it to find out, but in case you don't want to and you just want a formal answer, let me just close this down and we'll create one very simply. It absolutely does work the same way. And so we'll just create, I don't know, we'll do another started event like we did in the last video. So just at bot.listen, and in the parentheses here, the event that we want. So we are going to do Hikari started event. Now, we are missing Hikari because we removed the import here. We can just add it back into the top if we want, because we do still have Hikari installed, and that has been resolved. Next, we just put our function header, async def, I don't know, on started, I don't know, event, and we'll just put print bot has started. Something basic like that. We will run that just as evidence that it works. As we can see, it has printed out the message that the bot has started, and we are using Lightbulb for this instead of Hikari. So there you go. You have now successfully modified your existing code to work with Lightbulb. Okay, so now you are ready to start creating your commands. So let's get started. So for this demonstration, I think I'm going to just create a very basic ping command in which the bot just replies pong, just because it's super basic, super straightforward. You guys won't get confused by the implementation of the actual command and can more focus on how commands are created itself. So let's get started. First things first, we are going to start with the decorators, and this one is real simple, just at bot.command. That's it. Next line, we are going to do at lightbulb.command, and this decorator actually has a pair of parentheses in which it takes in two values. Well, it can take multiple, but hold on, let's see here. Maybe we can have, yeah, we can see all of this stuff pop up here, but we need to have at least a name and a description here. So the first thing we are going to do is put in the name. This command is just going to be called ping, and the description I'll just put says pong. Nothing too crazy, it's super basic, super straightforward. So next we are going to say at lightbulb.implements, and this is also going to have a pair of parentheses. So with Hikari Lightbulb, you can have a bunch of different types of commands. You can have groups, you can have subcommands, you can have actual commands, whatever. You can have prefix commands, you can have slash commands. Now, I'm going to teach you guys how to create slash commands in this video, even though it's very similar. Actually, I think it's almost the exact same with regards to creating prefix commands. However, Discord is trying to move away from bots using prefix commands and trying to get everyone to use slash commands. If you are trying to create a bot that is going to be really big in multiple hundreds, thousands of servers, slash commands are going to be more or less required. So I'm really going to teach you guys the best way to create slash commands and kind of gloss over, really not even gloss over, just ignore prefix commands. If you guys really want to know about that stuff, you can check the Hikari lightbulb documentation there, that will be linked down below. But as I said, I'm going to focus on slash commands for the sake of this tutorial because that's really what you're going to want to be creating for your bots. And with that in mind, to create a slash command, just in these parentheses here, lightbulb dot slash command. And that's it. So now this is basically saying the command that you're going to be creating is a slash command. Now, one thing to note is that with these decorators, the order in which you use them or in which they appear above your function header is important. So please make sure you're following along with this. Sorry, excuse me, or make sure you are checking the documentation to ensure that you are doing it correctly. Again, link down below. So now we can move on to our function header. This is very basic, just async def, the name of your function. I'm just going to call it ping, and all commands need to take in a context object, of which I'm just going to call it CTX for short for context. And that is basically it. That is our function header. So now within the function, this is the code that is going to be run when the command is actually invoked. For this command, we are just going to have the bot reply pong. And so to do that, we say await ctx.respond, and then in the parentheses here, what we want the bot to say, pong. Just that. It's super straightforward. And so before we run this command, basically it is complete. One thing, there is one thing that I kind of want to make note of because it is super helpful, especially when testing and starting to write your bot out from scratch before it's being deployed to however many servers you're going to have it running in. When creating slash commands, I'm not entirely sure why, but Discord seems to take forever actually registering them. And so to kind of get around this, what you're going to want to do is inside of your bot instantiation here, you're going to want to say default enabled guilds, and then you're going to create a little tuple here, and this is going to contain the IDs of all the guilds that you want your bot to have its commands registered to. So if I go over here, whoops, not there. If I go over to Discord and whoa, someone's pinging me, and I copy the ID of my guild, if I go back here and I paste it in here, actually let me move this onto another line, just like this. Let me make this a little bit nicer. Perfect. If you use essentially this little tuple with guild IDs, your bot is going to register its commands only to those guilds. This is super useful when you are trying to test, because this is the idea of my test server, and it's not going to take forever to register all these commands. It's simply just going to say, nope, this is the only guild that needs them. Send them that way and get it over with real quick. So make sure you set this. Otherwise, it's going to take a really long time once you actually run your bot for your command to actually be registered and able to be used. So once you have this done, save your file, and we are going to run our bot. Python bot.py. As you can see, our event is still firing. Now, if we head over, oh my God, what is happening? Probably a raid or something. I don't know. It's not my problem. But basically, how we use a slash command, is we are just going to say /, and as you can see here, you can see the command is actually registered to our bot. You can see the bot name there, we can see the name of the command, we can see the description of the command. And if we actually run the command, I can click on it, or I can just type out the command itself. Pong. That's basically it. That is the command we have created. And so that's basically it. It's not super difficult. Yeah, there might be a lot of decorators, 3, right? That could get a little bit hectic, but at its core, it really wasn't too difficult, and we went through it. I hope I explained it pretty well, but that is your basic slash command. Now, before we get too carried away and create a whole bunch of just /command/command/command, there are different ways to organize your commands. There are command groups, and there are subcommands, sorry, geez, I'm stuttering. There are command groups and subcommands, which we are going to get into in this next part. Okay, so to create groups and subcommands, it is very, very similar to the command that we just created with some very minor tweaks. So I'm going to kind of go through it a little bit quicker, but don't worry, once we have created everything, I will go back through and explain all of the differences. So let's get started. So first things first, at bot command, same. At lightbulb.command, once again the same. We are going to specify the name of the group here. I'm just going to call it group. Nothing fancy. And we'll say this is a group. Next, we are going to say lightbulb.implements, and we are going to say lightbulb./command group. So as you can see here, this is a slash command, just a normal slash command. This is a slash command group. This essentially is just saying this command is going to have subcommands, and it's going to group them together, right? So next we need our function header. Async def, I'll just call this group, or even just my group. I don't know, just to make it not exactly the same. Not that it makes a huge difference, but yep, takes in some context. And I'm actually going to say that this function does nothing. I'm just going to say pass. When this function is invoked, don't do anything, just continue on. And I will get back to this in a bit, and you'll see why effectively I'm doing this when we get into the demonstration portion of these two commands. Two commands implying that I'm going to create a subcommand now. And how we do this is I say at my group.child. So where did I get this decorator from? Well, this is the group we just created. It's called my group, and it is a slash command group. So I want this subcommand that I create to be a child of that slash command. So I say my group child, and it's going to be a subcommand of this group that we created here. All right. So at my underscore group dot child is our first one. Next we have lightbulb.command with the name of it. Let's call it subcommand, and then this is a subcommand. Nothing fancy once again. And at lightbulb implements lightbulb./subcommand. Right? So this is a regular slash command. This is a not a regular slash command. This is a slash command group. So it's going to contain slash subcommands, and this is the actual slash subcommand. Okay? So async def subcommand. Again, not a fancy name. It takes the context. I'm just going to have this command here respond, I am a subcommand. Again, nothing crazy, just meant to be something, right? Okay, so you might be wondering, why did you say this function is going to do nothing and this function is going to say I'm a subcommand? Well, if we save the file and run the bot, good, everything seems to have started. We go over here. By the way, in case anyone was curious, I did go check what was going on here in between the shots or in between the recordings. Someone was just spamming a whole bunch of pings on the owner, so definitely don't do that unless you want to get paid. But so okay, if we go over here and we take a look and try to use our commands, well, if I type that /, as you can see, we have a new command here. Group is the name of the group command that we created, and subcommand is the name of the subcommand, right? So if I run it, as you can see, it says I'm a subcommand. Now, if we go back to this list here, you'll notice that there's no just /group. There is only /group subcommand, and that's because group commands cannot actually be run on their own using / commands. I don't know if this is a limitation with Discord or Hikari Lightbulb. If I had to guess, it's a Discord limitation, but yeah, you can only run the subcommands. So there's really no point in implementing anything for this group because it'll never be run. So that's a little bit unfortunate, but yeah, this is how you create your subcommands and groups, and again, not super difficult. The only difference is what you're implementing here, and when you are actually creating the subcommand, specifying this different or this new decorator, making sure you have that set up correctly. So the last thing I want to go over before the video ends in this next part is how to add options to your command. Okay, so adding options to commands is as easy as adding on more decorators. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to create one more command. It is going to be a simple command where we add two numbers together, and those two numbers are going to be options that the user will specify. So let's do that very quickly. We are just going to say at bot.command at lightbulb.command. The command will be called add. It's going to add two numbers together. It is going to implement lightbulb./command async def add ctx, and we're not going to implement the function just yet. So far this should all look completely familiar because it is basically just the ping command that we have here minus an actual implementation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in some options. So we're going to say at lightbulb.option, and then there will be a pair of parentheses of which we need to specify a couple things. So we need to specify the name of the option. The first one I'm just going to call num1, and I'm going to give it a description of the first number, and I can also give it a type. This is not required. This is just something I'm going to be doing for this example because I would like to take them in as numbers or integers in this case. So I'm going to say type is int. I think if you don't specify it, I believe it just defaults to string, which is fine. But in this case, it would be easy if it would just convert it to an integer for me. So we have our num1 at lightbulb option num2. I'm just going to say the second number, and this is also going to be of type int. So there are our two options. So one thing to note is they must be above the lightbulb.command decorator. This is important. Just make sure you have that, and it also has to be underneath the bot.command decorator there. All right, so if you have it, if your code looks something like mine, you should be good to go. And just for the implementation, we are just going to say await ctx respond because we want the bot to respond back with some information, but we want it to respond back with the sum of these two numbers. So how do we get these numbers? Well, we just say ctx.options.num1 because we named it num1, and we add it with ctx.options.num2 because again we named it num2. So save it, run the file. Perfect. Started successfully, and if we head on over to Discord, if we hit /, we now have add, and it's actually backwards. So I think if we just swap these two around and just reverse their order, it would actually be correct. But it's not too important. I'm not going to bother with that just now. So let's go back over here. So we're just going to say, I don't know, 1 and 2. So as we know, 1 plus 2 is 3. If I hit enter, it spits out 3. So that's how to use options with your command. Really not too difficult. You're just adding in these decorators, and it's kind of nice because just adding decorators to manipulate your command, it kind of makes it a little bit easy. But I don't know. I guess some people might not like having a million decorators on their functions, which is fine. But at least it's not too complicated, is my point. It might look a little funny, but it's not too complicated. I mean, look, we have more decorators than we have actual implementation lines of code. So a little bit funny, but it works, and it works well. That's the real point. But anyways, so that is the end of this video. This took me forever to make. I had to do like 5 billion takes, and I had to do like a bunch of stuff in between takes, but finally got through it. I think I started at like 11. You can look at the time at the start of the video, and now it was like 11, and now it's like 1 a.m. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below, or you can join my Discord, link in the description. Leave your comments on what I should do for future videos. What else? Subscribe. Geez, I'm not even remembering. My brain is so fried. I've been recording takes for 2 hours in a row. But really just thank you guys. I will see you in the next video, and that's it. Bye.